to keep right.
Hey friends, it's Thursday, September 2nd, 2021. I hope you're ready to prepare to go there because we are going to get some work done today. It's all about the preparation that we need to get after so that way when we show up ready. My name is Peter, and I'm so glad to be on this extended coaching journey with you. Literally every day, we're having conversations about self-leadership and the future and how we can prepare to go there, hence the name. So welcome back or welcome aboard to the future frontier. It is wild and just open for the taking. And so let's lean forward and let's make this time count. I want to share the why, and then we'll get into the big idea, which is daily planning. It's been a lot of fun to look at it from a few different angles with you, but I get it. It's not that exciting unless you're kind of geeky like me. Honestly, I didn't start that way. I was not interested. I was kind of like, to use a metaphor, Bilbo Baggins, just very comfortable in my own little hobbit hole. And then I had some, to continue the metaphor, some amazing intruders that have kind of helped me get along on an amazing adventure. And those were just events and moments that helped me, get going and take action today. And now I'm having so much fun leading myself and other people through some, time-proven principles and some timely best practices. But enough about that. Why we are on this coaching journey. Leadership is so important, and I'm convinced that the future is going to need more leaders, not fewer leaders, and that leadership is going to matter more and not less. And that's where the fault line begins to creep in. That's where the sad tragedy begins to show up. It's that most people, even people with titles and good intentions, most people don't know how to lead others into a better future. And that's an indictment in a way, but really it doesn't have to be. We just have to diagnose it. And it's my thesis and the reason I keep coming on day after day, because I think I have experienced this, I've observed this, and I want to help others navigate this. And it's simply that they don't know how to lead themselves there first. They don't know how to lead themselves into that better future personally. And if you can't get there, then you can't take people with you. And so that's why I believe self-leadership matters. It's not the only thing. It's not the only part of leadership, but it is the foundation. It is the starting point. And it's kind of like the root system of a big tree. It goes unnoticed. It's growing underground. Real growth starts underground. And a lot of people can overlook that and then try to shortcut that process. And that's why I think a lot of leaders are having burnout and failure and, some sort of flimsy definition of success because they didn't understand what that season of preparation was all about. And so now some of those choices are catching up with them. I'm all for, mercy and help and restoration, but I would much rather make an impression on an emerging generation of leaders than to try to fix, the concrete that's already hard and broken, so to speak. So that's why we are working on ourselves right now. There's a lot that we cannot control, but there are things that we can control. And it's really important that we don't mix up the two, that we, you know, do our best, pray that it's blessed, and trust the Lord to do the rest. And that's a quote from an old Keith Green song. But Prepare to Go There is an invitation to friends and leaders alike to help them focus practically on their future and then do the work day by day of preparation to figure out how to lead themselves into that future that they're focused on day by day by day, and to do so with a real actionable, even tactical approach, meaning that they know the steps that they're going to take to lead themselves and then lead others into a new and needed way forward. Now, if this resonates with you and you're probably already on this journey or you want to get going in that direction, I invite you to join the Future Friends. It's the email community here for this project and this purpose. The Future Friends get an email each week from me. It's a bundle. I call it the weekly roundup of all of the coaching conversations that we're having that week. Generally, they're now working off of one big idea that's, getting worked out day by day. So the blog, the vlogs, live streams, and then even the upcoming projects or products that I'm developing. And so I give a lot of info and incentives through that as well. I'm going to be sharing a gift with you just for watching. At the end, it is the free fail-proof planning guide, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. But I want to get into our conversation with a quote from President John F. Kennedy. He said, "The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining." And I think that sums up the idea of preparation, a lifestyle of preparation. A lot of people are waiting until it's too late to do the work, to do the preparation, to get ready for the moment, the challenge, the opportunity, the relationships, whatever. And so today matters, even though it doesn't feel important, it doesn't feel urgent, it doesn't feel special, right? It's just another Thursday, but today matters because of where you're going. And we won't have time to figure all this stuff out. And so I believe today is a gift. Today is a gift that we need to unpack and personalize. And so with that, I am passionate about daily planning. As silly or simple as that sounds, as boring as that may be, I really believe that daily planning is just one of those facets of self-leadership, doing what matters. Joshua, welcome, man. Thanks for jumping on. And so we've been going on this journey and talking about daily planning from a few different angles. There's a blog on peterbirchfield.com right now that kind of gives the big idea. And then we went into different avenues. So if you are just an analog only person and you want some tactics or some strategies to do daily planning with just paper, I'm a big advocate of paper and pen, journaling, mind mapping, doodling, just whether it's just a brain drain or whether it's a master plan. I think everything starts on paper. And if you want to keep going in that direction, I gave you a big head start and I gave you some things that you can think about and practice to go in that direction. We also talked about Evernote, which is the note-taking app that I use. If you like the digital route and you want to go in that direction, so do that as well. But today we're going to bring both of those together. And so now I'm going to kind of finish up this trio with my phone, because really when it comes down to it, everything needs to be near you when you are running, when you're making it happen. You want to wake up and go. You want to get after the day. And so I don't want to be, looking for all the papers or trying to grab my big sketchbook here, can you imagine? I'm like, okay, let me run and grab this. I don't want to make the plan in the moment. I want to have something to go off of. I will always improvise. I can always be, led and guided through the day, but I don't want to come empty handed. There's this awesome thought and quote. It says, I don't want to bring the Lord something that didn't cost me something, right? I don't want to just come empty handed. I want to have a plan. I want to have something to contribute and then just run with it, offer it, see what happens. And of course, it's going to adapt, it's going to change, but you got to have something to work with. And I see so many emerging leaders and they don't know what they don't know. And so let's put in the reps right now because there's so much in you that needs to come out of you, but we just have to structure it and strategize it in a way that is helpful for you and those around you. And so I've got a few big ideas. We're going to just hit them and talk about them a little bit. If you have comments or questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat because that's what this journey is about. But the first thing is just as a kind of a guiding principle is we want to get organized so we can stay mobilized. Okay. And it's kind of like you got the train tracks going down before the train is coming. And a lot of people want to be on a train that's moving fast and going hard, but did you lay down tracks to prepare for that momentum? And so the phone is such an awesome tool, and it can be useful in the moment to have a reference, to look at something and then go off of that, or to have an idea and to capture it, or to contact someone and have a real meaningful conversation. This is definitely a tool, but you can't just be sitting there trying to make it up, because what will happen is you look at this a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and you get distracted. You get pulled into it. And so the real success of running a daily plan off your phone is that it is waiting on you. It's already done. It's just accessible through this. It's not you actually trying to figure it out in the moment. And so that kind of leans into the idea of pre-work. Pre-work makes this work. So daily planning with your phone makes sense. It really does. It is a great tool and tactic, but it will take some pre-work to avoid distraction. It'll take some pre-work and some setup, so that way when you wake up and you show up, you just open up your note-taking app or your to-do list or whatever you're running with, your calendar, and it's there. And now you're just using this as a visual as you go through your day. Okay, so pre-work, what is that? Because that really is the secret sauce to a great daily plan. The idea of pre-work is basically the work you do to set yourself up for success before it's time to really work. We're still going to do great things each day, but you actually have to do a few details, and you have to make a few decisions, and you have to kind of clear some space just to show up and avoid self-sabotage, interruptions, distractions, unexpected obligations. There is some preparation, even on a daily, weekly basis, that's going to help you get in the zone, stay there, and make it count. So I want to give an example, like going on an airplane trip. My wife and I just got back from a little summer vacation. We went to Florida for her birthday, and we went with friends, which was cool. And we kind of shared this B&B. And then we found this awesome kind of, I don't know, just off the beaten path place where there's a really cool river vibe. And so we spent a lot of our time just outdoors, hiking and canoeing and floating. And so it was great to kind of unplug in that way. And then we did, a day at Disney and came back. So that was like the big birthday treat, right? The big birthday surprise. And so we go on the airplane, and you're asking yourself this question, what do I want to do, or what do I need to have for that trip when I'm in the air? Because, when you get in the airplane, they close the door, thankfully, right? But I mean, you're closed in. It's not like you're saying, oh, I forgot something. Let me go back to my house. I mean, you're up in the air. And then for that matter, you're in a chair that's buckled in. You got people all around you. So you're only working off of the things you have, the things that are with you, the things that you've thought of in advance, the things that you're going to do. So for instance, what will you want to do during the flight? If you want to listen to a podcast, you would have to download that podcast beforehand. And I know that they have Wi-Fi on the planes now, which is cool. But I mean, if you wanted snacks that are, let's say, gluten-free or organic or something different than whatever they're offering, you have to pre-decide, you have to pre-develop that. I'm not saying you're growing your own organic food to get there. I mean, you can find some middle ground there. But another example is maybe you get cold often and you got to think ahead. And so you're going to bring a light jacket or a sweatshirt to go with you. I mean, this is something pretty natural, pretty intuitive. And yet we don't apply this common sense to the work that is so important. When you show up to do great work, you sit down, you're ready, and then all of a sudden, oh man, I forgot to get more coffee. And then you go, oh, I need to use the restroom now. And then you go, and then, oh, I forgot, and I got to check emails now. And then I'm getting phone messages now because it's 30 minutes in and people are finding me and they're looking for this, that, and the other. And it's like, what happened to that focused work that you said you were going to do? So the same goes with making a great day, with planning a great day. You have to prepare this stuff in advance and you have to set yourself up for success. That is what pre-work is all about. And so now when we're doing this pre-work, where is it happening? When do we actually do the pre-work to make the planning on our phone a success? And the key to great daily planning is having a great weekly planning session. Whoa. Did we just go to the next level? Yes. This is kind of like Inception. This is a plan and a plan and a plan and a plan. We've got these overlapping planning sessions that help us with our values and with our range of visibility, what we can see and do. So the good news is you don't have to have everything figured out at the weekly planning session. You're going to do the pre-work 1 week out. And then as you get into that day by day, you're looking at it, you're referencing it. Maybe you update a little bit here or a little bit there. You can change things as needed, but you're not starting at zero. You're not starting with no plan at all. You're starting with something. I mean, before that, we talked about templates, which are great in Evernote. So you've got some sort of foundation there. And then you can build on that with, custom and current events, projects, tasks, things. And then when you show up the day of, you can add in even more. So this is like multiple touch points on the same plan, but it's like a rolling process. So it's more like you're just making these minor corrections or minor adjustments, minor additions to this plan, multiple iterations, multiple touch points. It's not like you had to do some Olympic routine one time for all time. This is a practice. This is going to be something you're working on and working through consistently. And so that's why a weekly planning session will help you do the pre-work. It will help you get ahead. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. We've got to get away in order to get ahead. And so a weekly planning session is where the pre-work I'm talking about can happen. Now, I go into this a little bit more. I have a blog. I just put the link in the bottom of this in the show notes. It's called Give 1 Hour to Gain 1 Week. If you're willing to give 1 hour in advance, you can actually batch multiple days and kind of get a game plan. Now, you can get better at this as you go. There's some, I would say advanced strategies in a sense, which I'm working on a project to share that. Mainly, it just takes a little bit longer to explain. But get started. Do something today. Get going, and then you'll get better. Give 1 hour to gain 1 week. Check out that blog to work on your weekly planning session. Now, the good news is you don't always need this comprehensive plan to have a great week. So even if you missed it, even if you didn't get to the weekly plan, maybe you had a great weekend, you had friends over, and y'all were just going hard and, having a fun time. And, oh man, it's Monday. I don't have a plan. What do I do? You don't need a comprehensive plan to have a great week. You just need a head start. You need a little bit of margin. You need to put a little bit of intentionality into it, and that'll give you the head start to have momentum in your day. Now, it does depend how much you're planning, how much you're putting into this weekly planning session. It does depend on when you start planning. For instance, if you have enough time and you're working on this like on a future Friday or maybe Saturday or Sunday before you're really launching out for the week, then you can batch multiple days together. And that's what I encourage, that you can lay the groundwork, do the pre-work for the whole week. And you're being very intentional. You have identified the big rocks. You're working in time blocks. So that way you're staying focused and there's a sense of strategy around it. And it's not like, some really intense dance choreography that you have to memorize in order to pull off. These are just spaces in time where you're making space, you're clearing out distractions or interruptions, so that way you can figure out those activities or those tasks in that time frame. If you have enough time, you're going to plan more out. If you don't, that's okay. You just have to make an attack plan for the next few hours. Don't ever bypass the daily planning process, whether you have a really good plan that's detailed and, presentable, or if you're just, like I said, grabbing a napkin and jotting down a few things. It's not about the plan. It's about planning. It's about practicing your own intentionality. It's about taking initiative. It's not about, waiting, hesitating, procrastinating. It's about leading yourself and making the day count. So the pre-work is important because that will let you use your phone without getting distracted. I've done this. I've seen this with others. They're trying to jot thoughts down. They're trying to make a roadmap, but they're already derailed because it's not where they are expecting it. They can't find the doc that they are using, or they're just kind of scatterbrained, disorganized. I've been there, but I know the difference now of being distracted or being focused. And I can tell you, staying focused is much better. And I talked about how you can set up your Evernote if you're going that direction. And I think that would honestly work in a variety of contexts. But doing that pre-work that I'm describing, such as a weekly planning session, will allow you to set up multiple days, multiple plans, multiple notes. So that way, boom, you open it up and you go for it. You can make any adjustments you want and you can go for it. So don't get discouraged if this is practice. It will take practice. but it becomes a game. It becomes really fun, and you start feeling personal momentum. You start seeing wins, and then you really commit with a more disciplined approach. And you say, this is my new normal. I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to make sure that I stay focused. So, how do you use your phone to focus on the day, to focus on a clear direction without getting distracted, without, falling off it? I want to give you just some easy ideas. The first one is know which apps are actually needed to do your work. Know which apps actually help you stay focused. And then you can move those apps to the front of your phone. And then you can push all the social stuff, all the games or the irrelevant stuff or the clutter, put it away, get it out of sight, get it out of your zone, out of your front view. I'll say it a bit facetiously, no disrespect intended, but you need to social distance from your social media. Put those apps further away, make them 3 clicks instead of 1 click, and realize that this thing is powerful. It can be used to do good things. It is a tool, but you want to make sure that you are using the phone instead of the phone using you. Now, as my opinion, and really just my experience, that you don't need as many tools as you think you do to keep going. You don't need all these different softwares. You don't need all these different systems. Sometimes we get the shiny object syndrome and we think, oh, I need that. I need this. And really, you need the skill sets and you need the strategy to use a simple tool really, really well, to practice doing the same thing again and again until you become well-versed in it. When you first get started, it's all about the gear, the stuff. But as you get going, as you keep growing, you begin to pick up knowledge, and then you're pretty much like a MacGyver, an old reference to a guy who could improvise a lot. And even, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what context you're in or what country you're in, whether you have Wi-Fi or you don't have Wi-Fi, you're going to stay productive. You're going to adapt. You're going to stay agile. And after a while, you could get into a workflow where you can set up all of your tasks, your communication, everything can just be simply on your phone, because it's not like you're trying to do the heavy lifting on your phone. You're just trying to access it, to share it, or to present with it, or to pass it on to others. So this just becomes kind of like your grab bag or your go-to, where you say, I'm ready for that. I thought about that. And I'm not talking about just random scenarios. I mean things that are in your calendar, things that you have mapped out. You know you're going to be having a conversation with that team. What will they need to succeed? What will that team need to lead? And so now you're thinking about it, you're working on it, things you want to tell them, things you want to give them, whatever it is. So you're preparing that. You're going to need content of some kind to use, to pass on. So now it's available here. And then maybe you're on the go, you're traveling, you're going to need different directions or different contacts. That's great. Get ahead of it. Do the pre-work. So I think kind of the big idea here is that you don't need as many tools as you think you do to keep you going. You just need to think ahead, and that will help you set up your phone so it helps you stay focused throughout the entire day. All right, that is it for today. If this was helpful, or just encouraging to keep going. I talk a lot about just having a conversation that helps you keep your future on the front burner. This is just, even if it's good repetition, that's the win. The win is that we're talking about it and we're moving towards it. And anything you can do to stay focused on your values, on your identity, and on the things that really matter, then that is mission critical. But I would appreciate it if you could like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay up to date with the content, because we're going to keep going in many new directions from here. I'm really looking forward to a lot of the conversations that are still coming. I'm looking forward to different projects. Some have already started. And so this is going to be hopefully a long-standing resource for friends and leaders that want to pioneer the future. I told you about a gift that I have for you. So click the link below and you'll find the free fail-proof planning guide. This is a PDF that you can get access to immediately. Just put your name and email, and then it'll walk you through a proven step-by-step process. And that will help you start with your goal setting, evaluate your rhythms, kind of bake that into some good routines, and then just get you going on daily planning like we've been talking about this week. I'll be back tomorrow with Future Friday, which is super fun because this is when I get to answer questions and we just get to dialogue about the things you're working on, the things you're thinking through. And really the big idea for Future Friday is, how can we help you keep your future on the front burner? Keep dreaming, keep growing, keep pushing, because it's going to be worth it. People are counting on you. You're making a difference, and we want to help you go the distance. So stay tuned, and I'll see you tomorrow or in another round of Prepare to Go There. Remember, you're going places, so prepare to go there.